Let's go, babe.
Great.
Now we just have to wait.
Woo!
Okay. I have a banana in the car.
If you've never done an ultra, this is me 24 hours after my first one. So I did a 50K and it was in the mountains and it was 5,700 feet of elevation gain. I'll post my Strava stuff here because it breaks it all down. But if you are looking to do a ultra for the first time, I was honestly, I never thought it was a big deal until I got close to it. When I got 2 weeks out, a week out, 2 days out, and I was like super nervous. I was scared. As bad as that sounds, I was scared to do it because I didn't want to fail. Never done one before, and I've just had no experience. So obviously it was something new, something challenging, and I wasn't sure how I was going to go about it. So I'm a husband, I have a wife, I have 4 boys, I have a full-time job, and I've been running for roughly about 2 years. For 1 year consistently every day. This is day 241. I got to do a little shakeout mile today, and I think I'll feel better after that. But I'm pretty, as far as how I feel, this is 24 hours exactly after, and I'm sore where obviously you would think to be sore, quads, calves, legs, but what I didn't expect was the upper body soreness. I'm sore in my traps, my neck, from shoulders, my arms, everything from my upper body. So I'm gonna run through everything that I carried with me as a brand new runner to ultras, and hopefully you can see what I did, and hopefully it will give you a little more confidence to be able to do it yourself, because you can do it if you're athletic, but you just it's a big feat. And sometimes I think in the running community we make things, we want so much mileage, and it is important to have your mileage and your time on feet and your fueling down, but sometimes you get caught up in all the science of it that you forget you're just having fun. And that's what I wanted to do, is have fun. So I'll show you what I did, and then hopefully it'll help you. Okay, this was my pack, my vest. It was $42 on Amazon. I mean, it's a really nice pack. It has the big place back here for the bladder, and it's got a zipper pack. I just put stuff in both of those. So that was my pack. One was pure water, one was electrolytes, which was my liquid IV. Let's see. And then as far as what I carried with me, this is everything that I carried with me. I carried a few waffles, a few gels, this Body Glide I put on before the race, put it all over the boys, put it between my legs and between the cheeks, no chafing at all. Carried this blister tape. I didn't know if I was going to have blisters on my toes or if I was going to have blisters on my feet, so I just carried that just in case. Sunglasses. This was my shocks. Something I did with the shocks was I didn't listen to music for the first 15.2 miles, which was the full loop. And then on the second loop, I started my music. For one, I saved phone battery and battery in my shocks, but it also gave me something to look forward to. I carried Nerd clusters and kind of chewed on those all day to keep my mouth kind of wet and to have a little sugar. I also carried the Vaseline because this was an experiment. I'd never used that before, so I did put Vaseline in a bag just in case. Desperation, I could just lather it up. Also carried ibuprofen. I didn't know if there's going to be a bunch of pain. I carried these salt tablets. I carried a bunch of them. I took one of them, and that was after my first loop, 15.2 miles in. That was my bib, and you can see these are kind of smushed down in here as I carried them in my pack. Now, one thing that was harder than expected was, like I said, the downhills. The uphills, you just hike them. You hike the uphills, run the flats, run the downhills, and that's a pretty obvious strategy to take into an ultra. But I did my fueling. I had an aid station every 4 miles, so I knew I was never far from fuel or from water. But I sipped on electrolytes and water all day. I just didn't stop sipping. I never chugged, but I sipped on them. And then when I got to the aid stations, I would top off both flasks if needed, and I would also take 2 or 3 shots of Gatorade or Coca-Cola, whichever one it kind of looked good. Ate a lot of fruit, watermelon and oranges. The oatmeal pie that was in my last video, that was really good. They had an assortment of things, PB&J sandwiches, assortment of things at the aid station, so that was awesome. But the stingers I used in between aid stations. If I come into an aid station and felt like the first aid station, obviously it's just 4 miles, didn't really need anything, so I took a gel at mile 3 because I would rather be over fueled or be over consuming than to under consume as far as gels and waffles and things like that. I just didn't want to get behind on my fueling and be fatigued, and I didn't yesterday. Just from the aid station food and the stingers, they were really good, and the waffles. And again, I munched on the Nerd Clusters all day. But that's it so far. I'm gonna go do a little shakeout mile, see how that goes, see if I feel a little better after. But it's not too bad, and I was pretty scared, like I said, before my first ultra. Hopefully this will ease your mind that you can just take the stuff that you know you need and know where your aid stations are, run the flats, run the downhills, and hike the uphills. Pretty simple.